Hong Kong is hit by a third wave of coronavirus infections. I'm Fiona Hu. Today, Rahul is with me, who is going to share his experience of how Hong Kong deals with COVID. Rahul, welcome to FH News.
Hi, good to be here.
Firstly, I want to congratulate of you being discharged.
Yeah, thank you. It was quite an experience, I guess.
So, how did you end up being in the hospital?
I went through the quarantine first, like for 14 days. On the 12th day, we had to do a second test. But then, I think there was like a miscommunication, and I was allowed to leave from my quarantine site and go like back to my house. And then I got the call from the Department of Health people saying that my second test, the one I did on the 12th day, had tested positive.
How about your family? Does any close contacts need to send to the quarantine center as well?
I came home and then like my family also had to go to quarantine, and including like my 89-year-old grandma.
Oh my god, that's so risky.
Yeah, it is. It's a big mistake of them. But there
Yeah.
was also a lot of like false positives, which is like my case.
That would be so unlucky.
But like at the time, we also tried to think about how like they are under a lot of pressure right now because of like this is third wave in Hong Kong now.
So, how does a room look like?
I think originally it was meant to be like individual rooms. As you know, the third wave, as I said before, like it was quite hectic for them. In my case, I was in a twin room and I was with like two other people. I had two like bed roommates who were definitely positive.
How did you feel at the time?
So I ended up being very like, I guess, paranoid about catching it from them. Yeah, I was like very diligent to like wash my hands very often.
What did the hospital do for infection control?
Well, the room that I was placed in the hospital is actually like a negative pressure room. You know, I think they did well enough to make sure that none of the aspects in the bathroom had to like, you don't have to touch them. Yeah, so everything was like pretty much automatic.
So, before you get discharged, how many different tests did you do and how often?
On the first day, they did the nasal swab. They also did a blood test. Like basically 2 days consecutively, I tested negative on the saliva test, and that's how they eventually discharged me.
How about your family? What tests did they do? Saliva?
Yeah, saliva, and they all tested negative.
Oh, that's so good. I was wondering, to stay in the hospital and finally get discharged from COVID, it is probably the moment you are most close to the virus. I want to ask, has your views for COVID changed over time?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I was in Australia and when I was like self quarantining at my house, like it felt something that was like very distant. You know, like I was taking all the right measures and everything, like wearing a mask to go outside. You know, it like brought to perspective that it's like something that like can happen to anyone.
Yeah, I hope we can all stay safe in the pandemic. Thank you, Rahul for being my guest today and willing to sharing your story with us. Thank you for listening.